Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today, as usual. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Everybody. Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York. Welcome to Politics and Right, as well as Paul Fleming from Powder Spring, Georgia, as well as Michael Rudnin from Brooklyn, New York, and Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain, Mike Cisak from somewhere in Missouri, Paul Fleming from Atlanta. No, I got Paul already. We also have in the house Bruce Pollard. Say it's Friday, BBQ. Oh, super. You going to make you some good BBQ, or is it that one that you had frozen, my dear brother? Which one is it? We also have in the house, scrolling up. Okay, I think I got all the folks that have registered in the chat already. I'm going down a little slower now to make sure I don't get past anybody. If I did, forgive me. Eric Hayes is in the house as well from King Wadatascasita. All right, let's get busy reading what you guys have to say here. WAPO, Washington Post says, what does it say? It says Kremlin hails return of spies, but says swap won't end fight over Ukraine. The welcoming of freed prisoners in Moscow, Washington, and Cologne, Germany showcase a wide gulf between Russia and the West amid the ongoing war in Ukraine. As journalist Ivan Gershkovich and other American released in a historic prisoner exchange arrived in Texas for medical treatment, and freed members of the Russian opposition reunited joyfully in Cologne, Germany. The Kremlin on Friday voiced triumph at bringing home elite spies and an operative convicted of murder. The Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov also swiftly squashed any suggestions that the swap, the most complex since the Cold War, marked a thawing of relationships that could open the way for peace talks in the war against Ukraine. His remarks suggested that releasing prisoners was a low common denominator of mutual interest. I don't think anybody thought otherwise. I think we all believe that. USA Today, who are the Americans still detained in Russian prisons? Here's the list. Mark Fogel, marijuana physician. Gordon Black, staff sergeant, petty officer theft. Robert Gilman, public intoxication and assault. Arsenia Karelina, bogus charge fundraising for Ukraine. I thought she got released. I could swear she got released. Okay. All right. Robert Woodland, drug trafficking. Eugene Spector, bribery and espionage. Michael Leake, drug trafficking. And David Barnes, bogus charge, child abuse. All right, let's see what we got. Did Shakula hairstylist beat me to the first comment today? Kind of impressive. Let me see. Did she? Not that I see. I still show you as the first comment, but I don't know. All right. Bruce Fowler said, we saw 200 people and gave out 100 gun locks at HISD back to school. Wow. That's impressive, Bruce. That's a lot of money too, right? How much is one of those gun locks? $10, $20? I don't know. All right. Bruce is having barbecue today. Bruce, is that the one that you told me about in the freezer, or is that you're going to go barbecue your own barbecue? All right. Let's see. Paul Fleming says, new for NABJ president. That's the National Association of Black Journalists. The bigger problem was Trump's threat not to take the stage when he had agreed to go on. He did not want to be fact-checked, but we could not let him on the stage without fact-check. I don't see what you're trying to make yourself look good, Mr. President of NAVJ. You got played. And, You were told you would be played, and that's exactly what happened. You got played. He should not have been on stage, and even if he came on stage, immediately you should have gone ahead and said you're lying. And if you don't like it, get the hell off my stage. Martin, what's his name? That has a show on what is his name? Rick Martin, Roland Martin. Pretty much told you guys straight up. You guys honored him. You should have listened to him. All right, let's see what else we got here. Eric K says progressive Democrats should like this one. Jeff Bezos' net worth of nearly $16 billion Friday as an Amazon stock was on track to its worst day in over 2 years following a disappointing job report, fueling a larger market sell-off that accelerated an ongoing rout for big tech stocks. Hey, so markets, man, go up and down. Remember, the market is nothing but a casino. And unless you realize that there's nothing that backs the market, okay? The fact that Donald Trump's stock is worth so much, having nothing in the back of it, tells you it's a casino. So when you give me stuff about the market, the only reason I used the market the other day when I said anybody voting for Trump because they claim for economic reasons and 401k reason, they're lying to themselves. Because the truth of the matter is your 401k looks a lot better under Biden than it did under Donald Trump. That's a statement of mathematical fact. So that means you're lying when you say it's a state of your 401k while you're voting for him. You're voting for him because of ideological reasons and some more negative reasons as well that I won't discuss right here because I want to move forward. But again, check yourself. Continuing, Paul Plummer says unemployment is near a 50-year low. Inflation has slowed. Real wages, what paychecks actually buy, have risen. Why stifle these gains by keeping interest rates high to slow the economy? All this does is punish workers and risk recession. Actually, it is a punishment for workers. You know, whenever you try to cure inflation with higher interest rates, you're succumbing to the biggest fraud that we have in our economic system. That somehow we are responsible for inflation with our spending, right? The only way you're responsible for the inflation with your spending is if you have a shortage of services and products. Our efficiency has grown so huge over the last several decades. The productivity rate of Americans have shot through the roof, but their wages have been stagnant. So what that says is the productivity gains have all been going to the top. And every little thing that happens in our economy, they want to inflate your prices. That's what causes inflation, not shortages. I would understand high interest rates if inflation was caused by shortages. Inflation is caused by corporations using the tenet that says whatever the market will bear. And if we throw money into your pockets, we are going to raise prices till we take that money out of your pocket. So here's what I'm trying to say. Many people were trying to say because of Biden giving an influx of money into people's pockets is what caused inflation. Money chasing goods and services. But that's not what occurred. The goods and services were there. There is no shortages of goods and services. They just chose to raise the prices. If I could get that into people's head, which one is actually occurring here, we could actually stop what the fraud of our economic system is. Our economic system is a fraud. It is a fraud controlled by the few. It's a fraud in which the few makes a lot of money. There was never an oil shortage. There isn't a reason for the price of gas to be what it is today because there is no shortage. In fact, it is so bad that Saudi Arabia continues to cut its production. We have so much oil. We have an abundance of oil throughout the world. But many continue to allow themselves to be fooled by this thing called inflation. Interest rates should be a lot lower. We should give the people the opportunity to save for a rainy day. That's a statement of fact. And Mike Cisak, that's a silly statement. I just explained to you basic economics. All right, let's continue. Is there an Ask Egberto tomorrow? Of course, there's an Ask Egberto tomorrow. And for anybody who wants to come to our Ask Egberto in any tomorrow, let me go ahead and put that up onto the screen for Ask Egberto anything. Let me go ahead and put that onto the screen. Sign up for Ask Egberto anything and come and talk to us. We love talking to you. There it is. I just put the link into the chat. All right, folks. I need you to let me continue with what you guys are saying here. Judge Churka can now restart hearing a in D.C. case against Trump. Court of Appeal sends order to D.C. court. Took them long enough. Oh, I didn't see that one. I got to go ahead and look that one up. Thank you for that information, Bridge MCP. Michael Radin says Trump lies with every second breath. Any responsible journalist interviewing him needs to be prepared to fact check him to his face in real time and repeat their questions with a stronger interrogatory tone when he dodges a question. He doesn't dodge, he just talks a lot of BS. I mean, he's an embarrassment. The guy is an embarrassment. All right, we're officially in recession. Congrats, Democrats. You know what is so funny? We had 114,000 jobs created. We've been creating jobs up the gazoo. And Michael Cisak feels that you are dumb to believe that we're in a recession. Wow. Michael Cisak, you continue to lose credibility, my brother. That's a lie. And you know it's a lie. Come on now. All right. Let's see. Government gives our troops peanut bonuses, yet send billion to other country. No, they give big time bonuses to corporations called tax cuts. That's where the money goes, and that's why. And by the way, the wars are actually promoted by the corporations, the big industrial military industrial complex. We neuter them, everything would be okay. All right, Paul Fleming says long before the pandemic, American job growth slowed under Trump. More jobs were added in Obama's last 3 years than in Trump's first year, and Biden has added over 8 million more jobs than Trump did during the same period, despite inheriting an economy that was in disarray. I mean, we all know that Trump's economy was a failure. He thinks that talking about the economy as if it were good actually makes some sense. Let's see what else we got here. Today's jobs numbers confirm that something is wrong with the economy. Oh, really? You mean after constant job increases, somehow a 4.3% inflation rate, 4.3% rate is something bad? But let's be a little bit clearer. The only reason the unemployment rate went from 4.1% to 4.3%, it's actually good news. More people decided to look for jobs. And not only did more people decide to look for jobs, they were out there in the markets and there were jobs to find. Okay, think about it, guys. It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh my God. I feel for those people who live in Fantasyland. All right, Bruce Pollard says Firecraft Barbecue where great harvest was. So you went and bought some barbecue. There you go. Let's see what else we got here. Does Mike C read his own links? Recession? Nah, man. July's numbers are not as so bad. The alarm is the direction of travel, and in the presence of warning signs from the other pieces of data that usually get less attention, the unemployment rate is 4.3%, up from 4.1, still low, but historically, when the unemployment rate moves up as much as it has this year, the rate was 3.7 in January. It does not stop. Their employers added 114,000 jobs in July. Not too bad, given that the economy has been near full employment, but that represents a significant deterioration for this year. Over the last 6 months, job growth has averaged 194,000 jobs, down from 251 in 2023. The size of the labor force expanded by 420,000 people in July, implying a greater supply potential for the economy as those people find jobs. But it's deeper than that. The reason why the rate went up is more people decided to enter the market. That is it. It is the economic reasons 401k doesn't pay my escalated bill, so check your progressive self before you wreck yourself. That made no sense at all, nor comports with reality, Eric. I don't know what the hell you said there, but it made no sense. Your 401k is a lot more than it was under Trump, period. All right, let's continue. Paul Fleming says, State Representative Gloria Johnson, one of the Tennessee three lawmakers targeted by Republicans-led expulsion effort over a gun control protest, has won the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate. Yes, will face off against Marsha Blackburn. That should be fun. We have to support her. She's a wonderful woman. Gloria Johnson. If you get an email from Gloria Johnson and you have $5 or $10 in your pocket, send her some money. Let's win. Mike Cisak says, so Egberto has admitted that inflation is caused by government printing money. No, I'm not admitting that at all. In fact, if that's what you got out of my argument, I must question your comprehension level, my brother. Egberto, so are you saying the supply and demand graph that is very basic of economic theory is wrong? No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying it is correct. And what I'm saying is because it's correct, what's happening with inflation is a fraud. Don't you get it? Don't you get it? If you don't have a supply problem, if you have enough oranges, if you have enough eggs, and you're selling those eggs, and you raise your price to meet the amount of money that people have, that is not a supply and demand issue because there's not more demand than the supply needed. It's a thievery. It's an economic fraud issue. That is like saying, I know you have an extra $10 in your pocket, so I'm going to raise the price of my pizza because I know you want a pizza and you'll pay anything for that pizza. An economic system under that design, and by the way, that's capitalism now. That is capitalism. That isn't saying a price would go up based on the availability. That is saying I am doing it because I am ruthless, because I can take your money. And you, Mike Cisak, you should be on my side when I say these things which are facts. But because many are so messed up in their head with regards to ideology, you can't see that the economic system is screwing you. Madre carajo, no puedo creer que no saben eso. All right. Michael said, Egberto, when Trump is asked a question, he talks a lot of BS that has nothing to do with the question. The person asking the question needs to call him out. I know they need to shut him up. They need to say, that's not what I asked. This is what I'm asking. If you don't want to answer it, let's go to the next question. That's all we need to do. You're right. All right, let's see what else we got here. Para ver, Egberto, Willies for the screen. Okay, let's see what we got for the first item on the screen. All right. Oh, I love that. I saw that today, Senor Radnin. I saw that one today. Fundraising. 300. That is what grassroots look like. $310 million for Harris. 139 for El Senor Trump. He's going to get beat so badly, not because of the money, but because he's just a lame, sorry excuse of a human being. That's all. That's all. That's all. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Mike Cisak said, Egberto, do you realize that 30 to 50% of the jobs claimed each month are government jobs? Oh, Lord. So what? It's a job. The numbers are so highly... Oh, Lord. Let's continue. Let's see. Let's continue. Okay, guys. I had a rant this morning on KPFT that I want to play for you guys. But before I play that rant, I have another message for you. And unfortunately, I just got through doing all these things right before the show. That's why I was a bit late. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these things loaded right now. And I'm going to go ahead. Actually, let me start with the rant. Let's do the rant video. and then we'll do the other one. So let's go ahead and get busy. I've been fixated on the Olympics and watching those great swimmers and the great gymnasts. And the sport has really opened up. And when I saw the gymnasts that won the Olympics, I looked and I said, my God, we are opening up. And the reason I said that was that it doesn't look the way it used to look before. When it comes to a sport like gymnastic, which requires income and stuff, if you're going to devote that to it, that was a sport then relegated to the upper classes, right? And we know that the upper class in the gay days pretty much meant white. And when I looked at that stage, I said, wow, we had one, two, three, an Asian American, an African American, and an Afro Brazilian were the top three. And by the way, this isn't taking away anything from absolutely anybody, but what it did for me is that it said, everybody given a chance, not a guarantee to succeed at whatever they do. This happened to have been in gymnastic, but succeed in everything if you just open the door, get rid of the stereotypes, etc., and you watch it happen. You take a look at women's basketball in America, and we know the stereotypes about basketball, etc. And then you have a Caitlyn come out and really excel and did so great in basketball, not the stereotypical top line basketball that we have relegated us to believe in. When we allow people the opportunity to excel without regards to who they are, what they are, ethnicity, or whatever, it just shows you what happened. You don't get manufactured excellence. You actually just get excellence. And that's what all of us who preach things like DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, that's all we're saying. Everybody have equal access to success. And then success will look like who you are, the population at large. And for those who fear that they're losing something by being inclusive, you're just making a better America, a better world. When everybody knows that if they go out there and just work hard. When Caitlin Clark went out there and bust her butt, she didn't say, I am going to look in the mirror first to see if this is what I should be. When we have Simone Biles going out there, she didn't have to look in the mirror and say, does this fit me? I want us to look at that reality. I want you to look at corporate America. But when I wrote the book, Tribulations of an Afro-Latino Caribbean Man, the reason I wrote it is my introduction into corporate America. The woman who liked my work when I went for the interview, she just immediately hired me as a senior software engineer at NL. And my introduction to corporate America was the VP of the division calling me into his office and saying, I don't know why Pat likes you so much, but I'm going to tell you something. You have 6 months to prove yourself or you're out of here, and I don't want to hear a damn thing about affirmative action. That was my entry into corporate America. And I also knew that everybody who saw me working as an engineer at NL, the first thing on their minds was that some sort of a quota hire? These things on the mind that isn't strong can have psychological impacts that's not warranted, that not all of us have to carry. And America has been ascending. America has been growing. America has been atoning. We got Obama, but then we got Donald Trump, who just couldn't let it happen, who just wouldn't let goodness happen, who went into the utter fears of Americans who thought that having people have equal access to success took away something from them. That is what we're living through. When we look at those that support Donald Trump, there are many people that have many reasons why they will support a misogynist, why they will support somebody that grabs women by their you know what, why they'll support somebody that they know lie like no one else, why they'll support somebody that steals from charity, while they'll support somebody that stiffs the working class who've done work for them, why they will do all these, why they will still support this person. What inside of your soul, what within you, who know quite well that had someone like an Obama had several baby mamas, stolen, grabbed onto women, raped women, did all these things. You know within your heart that if an Obama had done that, that hell, if a Biden had done that, it would never have been accepted, or no one would think you could come close to the White House. For those who said, I am forgetting all of that for economic reasons, and then you look at your 401k, and your 401k is exploding past what it did under a Donald Trump. For those who have lost family members to COVID because he hid the severity of COVID, and with that caused the thousands of deaths, because by hiding, COVID doesn't care if you're Republican or Democrat. It just knows it attacks an immune system. Innate fear of what it means to look like America, or innate fear. We still support someone like a Donald Trump. I tell you something, I've been talking for a long time that America would wake up, America would atone. As we fixated on an agent Biden, as we fixated on that and said, oh my God, the guy looks old, the guy looks frail. That's what they wanted you to fixate on, your fears and an old man. But as we were able to take away that from the equation, what I said would come to pass started to come to pass. You look at the polls, they're a changing. If you look at America starting to think about a future, it's starting to happen. And if you take a look at what Donald Trump did at the National Association of Black Journalists, if you take a look at how he responded to the release of the prisoners yesterday, you understand what an implosion looks like when America starts to look inside for its own goodness. When it starts to say, we've got to get out of this false rage and start looking forward. Because right now, Donald Trump is a sick man. His hate comes from how he was reared. He didn't have a good life. It shows you that billions doesn't give you happiness. Billions, and by the way, he ain't no billionaire. So having grown up with the semblance of having money doesn't give you anything if you don't have deep within the happiness of having the love of others, having the love of family, love of friends, love of all these things. And having that as the standing bearer who's going to make policy for you is what destroys you. It's what destroys you. So it's starting to happen. America is starting to feel afresh, and good for America. Because I tell you, loving is much better than hating. Watching the cream float is much better than having the curd just spread and become. So folks, with that, my rant of the morning, but I just have a great feeling. Watching the Olympics, watching the hugs, watching people revere in each other's success, irrespective of who they are, going to Paris as Americans and winning as Americans. Wow, it's a beautiful thing. And what we see in the Olympics is what we should see in the boardrooms, in the shipyards, and everywhere else. Let us have equal access to success. Let's have diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's all be woke, because woke means you're awake. And if you're awake, it means you can learn. And if you can learn, it means we can all succeed. And if you can learn, it means we can all succeed. Folks, that's what it's all about. I hope you enjoyed that. But this morning, that's what I woke up with on my heart. You know, I get up at 5 in the morning so I can do my 6 o'clock show at KPFT 90.1 FM. And I got a call from this was great. I got the call from the station this morning. You know, looked at my thing. I saw, it's the program manager giving me a call. Hey, how you doing, beautiful? She says, like, Verda, I don't know if you know it, but do you know this morning ratings, you beat Amy Goodman? I was like, oh, really? Wow. I'm touched. I'm touched that this morning the show really did well. So I'm excited. Folks, but share these shows. I mean, again, like I said, it's all over now, right? Because we also play it on I have it on audio port, which means other stations pick it up and play it as well around the country. But we still need you to support the program the best way you can, because again, all of this is done on a volunteer basis, including with what we do at KPFT. Anyway, folks, anyway. Bridge MCP says TC was great to watch them both. Yep, I love watching. Look, TC. I am taking away nothing away. I'm taking nothing away from the sisters by saying how good Clark is. I love the false rivalry between Clark and Reese. They're both damn good players. But I'm telling you one thing, a lot of people like to get mad when we talk about how good Clark is. Clark is damn good. Caitlin Clark is damn good. Now, the other thing that Caitlin Clark is bringing to the thing is, unfortunately, two things can be true at the same time. If the black women that have been as good as Caitlin Clark didn't bring the eyeballs that Caitlin Clark brought because of, how this country is. I don't have to tell you that. But the good thing about it is the elevation that Caitlin Clark is bringing to the WNBA is good. So what if she is a standard bearer of bringing more eyes? We skin a cat however we can. You know, so I think we should hug on Caitlin. And the one other good thing that I like about Caitlin is that she doesn't she knows, and she doesn't imply that she thinks the WNBA is all about her, etc. She understands that she's there on the backs of many, but that also that she has gotten an advantage because of how she looks. But again, that is just like I don't want anybody, like the monologue that I just gave about when I got to NL and they said, I don't know why Pat likes you, but you have 6 months to prove yourself. And if it doesn't work out, I don't want to hear a damn thing about affirmative action. That was a slap to my face. Of course, I finished the project in 2 months, but that's not the important thing is this. I felt horrendous. But that's the reality of America. And she lives a certain reality, albeit a privileged reality, but there's a reality that she has to go and live through as well. Egberto Willis, she may not have brought the eyes and so much ticket sales, but both brought attention to women's sports. However, when the time came for the money, they still lost. Yeah, they lost, but no, but I think she brought the eyes too. I mean, they had to change venues and all that kind of stuff, which they never had to before. They had to change venues and attendance and all that kind of stuff. So, look, I don't want to take anything away from what an individual has done for a sport, irrespective of what the actual reasons are, you know. So just one of those things. Anyway, you preach a word there, Egberto. Thank you, YT4ME57. Thank you. Both were friggin' awesome. Yes, they're friggin' awesome. And I think actually Reese is a pretty darn cute young lady. She actually looks like a doll. Have you ever seen those pictures of of Reese? She's like a beautiful doll. Just she's just she's just that. Anyway, let's see what else we got. Clark is Larry Bird of the. Yeah, but don't. Hey, let me tell you something, brother. Larry Bird, the Larry Bird Johnson fight. That is what I like about the Reese Clark thing. But damn it, Larry Bird was boss, man. Larry Bird was boss. Anyway, let's continue being. But the whole gist here is I want people to succeed on their merit, right? We don't have a meritocracy in America. I repeat, we do not have a meritocracy at all. We don't. It's all about what privilege and break you get in this country. That's all. I don't care what anybody wants to tell you. It's not a meritocracy. You may get lucky and be able to break through, but it's not a meritocracy. Anyway, Brother Vance is weird. He believes that the success of this last prisoner release was due to Donald Trump. The powers that be were so scared that Donald Trump was going to win. They were so scared that Donald Trump was going to win that Vladimir Putin says, you know what, man, we better go ahead and give these people what they want. We better give these people what they want, you know, because guess what? They may win. Well, that's not the case at all, folks. First of all, let me kind of tell you now that guess who's leading the polls, the national polls? Yep, you got it right. Harris and Trump supposedly are tied, but you know what tied mean? That she has a 1.5 point lead on Trump now, from Biden being quite a bit below to now having a lead. Let me go ahead and blow that up for you guys. There's a tracking poll. Oops, wrong one. Blowing up the wrong one. Blowing up the wrong one. Let me get that back to where it's supposed to be. All right, let's go to this screen here. Let's blow that up. That's a new poll, guys. Harris is up. Who would have thunk it? Well, we knew that was going to happen. We knew that was going to happen. So the poll, and look at the steady rise from the time they declared her. Steady rise, steady rise, steady rise. So yeah, I think my landslide is starting to materialize. So I think you guys remember how much of our right-wing folks laughed when I said the landslide is coming? Democrats are scared to say it. But when you look at how Trump imploded on the NABJ, you understand what I'm talking about. You're funny, Egberto Willis. You think we can see that? I tried, man. I tried. But anyway, let's talk about JD Vance and what JD Vance had to say. You know, JD Vance is saying the reason Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris have been successful in getting the prisoners, the prisoner swap, was because the Russians know that Donald Trump is coming into office, and because he's coming into office, they better get these deals done now because, you know, when Donald Trump come into office, it's going to be really tough. And remember what Donald said? Donald said, "Oh, only I can actually get this hostages out." Interestingly, you wonder how these people think. I mean, it seems to me more logical that if Trump said the only person that can get them out is Trump, because he has this master relationship with Putin, it seems that the logical conclusion would be that, oh my God, Putin is going to make a deal now because he knows the person that's coming next is not Trump, but Kamala Harris. So let me get a deal now, because who knows what's to come. I know Trump, I know Biden, but I don't know Miss Harris. I mean, logical thinking maybe? I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
I mean, great that Evan and Paul Whelan are coming home. I think that really what this shows is that a lot of bad guys across the world are worried that Donald Trump is coming back into office. And I think that they're trying to clean house before Trump comes back, because they know that when he comes back, it's no more easy streets.
The Republican ticket's vice presidential nominee, Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio, speaking yesterday about the historic prisoner swap and saying that it happened because of Donald Trump. Trump himself appeared to only have negative things, though, to say about the prisoner swap. In a social media post, he wrote in part, quote, "We never make good deals at anything, but especially prisoner hostage swaps. Our negotiators are always an embarrassment to us." He then went on to claim that as president, he was able to negotiate the release of wrongfully detained Americans in exchange for nothing, before claiming the U.S. had been, quote, extorted yesterday. President Biden was asked yesterday about Donald Trump's criticism of the deal.
President Trump has said repeatedly that he could have gotten the hostages out without giving anything in exchange. What do you say to that? What do you say to President Trump now, former president?
Why didn't he do it when he was president?
Yeah, why didn't he do it when he was president? Paul Whelan, specifically, for example, was arrested by Russia during Donald Trump's term in office. And a quick fact check on the former president's claim that his administration never secured the release of Americans without giving up anything in return. Well, for example, in February of 2020, the Trump White House agreed to free 5,000 Taliban prisoners in exchange for 1,000 prisoners. And later that same year, the administration agreed to give up 250 Houthi rebels in exchange for 2 wrongfully detained Americans. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the former president, John, thinks that there is nothing that he can get out of this. And so he's just going to attack the deal itself. But on a day, obviously, when everybody's celebrating, we all understand there are complications around this deal. We all understand that compromises were made. But it's hard to look at those scenes of the Americans coming home and meeting their families without being able to express some joy, perhaps, at what happened.
Yeah, and Donald Trump simply incapable of doing that. Trump, everything is politics. Everything is about what he can try to turn to his advantage or attack his opponent. And let's remember the dangerous rhetoric we heard from him over the last few months, where he kept saying that only he could make a deal, only he could do it. He would talk to Putin and get it done the first day after he won. That, of course, turned out not to be the case.
So, yeah, it turns out that Donald Trump just talks and talks and talks. And the reality is, I think the mainstream media gives too much credence to what he has to say. And then those of us in independent media has to pick it up to make sure that we give the proper narrative to the half narrative given by the mainstream media, because, again, they try to apply this false balance, this false reality, this thing that, well, the Democrat says this, the Republican says this, the right says this, the left says this, when what really should occur is Donald Trump should be ignored. Donald Trump should be relegated as just a petty thief, as just a petty sexual abuser, as just a petty all those negative things. And whenever they refer to him, that's how they should refer to him. But because they're trying to give a false balance, they give this guy's credibility. So those of us in the independent media then have to pick it up, give the right narrative, and say, no, what they're saying is crap. Not only what they talk about on the right is crap, but again, it does defy reality. Yes, it does defy reality. Yes, it does defy reality. Anyway, folks, let's see where we head to now. I mean, the other topic that we have right here is, bear with me one quick second. I want you to read this story here. Para ver. Here's the link. You know, remember what I tell you about projection, right? Well, we always talk about projection. Republicans are always talking about Democrats are doing something deceptive to the vote, etc., etc., etc. But remember, when you hear these people complain, remember who are the ones really doing the damage, okay? I want you to check this out. I'm putting it on the screen right now. How is this legal? Elon Musk's pro-Trump super PAC accused of voter deception. Subtitle: if you did not believe he was maniacal or evil before this, well, now you know, said a former congresswoman. And here it goes. A super political action committee connected to billionaire Elon Musk is not only working to elect Republicans, including former President Donald Trump, but also collecting voter information in battleground states via a method that is setting off alarm bells, CNBC reported on Friday. CNBC political finance reporter Brian Schwartz examined how an online America PAC advertisement featuring footage of the recent assassination attempt targeting Trump sends viewers to different websites depending on their location. If a user lives in a state that is not considered competitive in the presidential election, like California or Wyoming, for example, they'll be prompted to enter their email address and zip code and then directed quickly to a voter registration page for their state or back to the original sign-up section, he reported. But for users who enter a zip code that indicates they live in a battleground state like Pennsylvania or Georgia, the process is very different. Rather than be directed to their state's voter registration page, they instead are directed to a highly detailed personal information form, prompted to enter their address, cell phone number, and age, according to Schwartz. If they agree to submit all that, the system still does not steer them to a voter registration page. Instead, it shows them a thank you page. One user on X, the Musk-owned social media platform formerly called Twitter, tried the process and shared related screenshots. And I have that on the screen right now. How is this legal? Veni Kunche of Diversity, as their Diversified Tech, asked on X in response to the reporting, America PAC is misleading voters. Georgetown University, Don Moynihan also raised legal concerns, saying, getting people's personal information on the promise of helping them to register to vote and then not helping them to register to vote definitely seems like election fraud. Retired journalist Mary Beth Schneider said, scamming people into thinking they are registered to vote, this should be illegal. Jody Jacobson, founder and executive director of Healthcare Across Borders, called for a federal investigation. Is anyone actually working over there? She asked the U.S. Department of Justice on X. Because here is something you should be investigating now. Clara Torres Spelcy, a professor at Stetson University College of Law in Florida and fellow at Brenham Center for Justice at New York University School of Law, criticized the super PAC and offered guidance on registering to vote in the United States. This is so shitty, she said of the group's action. To avoid a fake registration page problem, Google your local board of elections and register directly through them. By the way, in Texas, you can't register online. You still have to do it by paper. Typically, your local board of elections is the name of the county you live in and board of elections. Former Congresswoman Mary Newman, Democrat of Illinois, took aim at Musk, saying, if you did not believe he was a maniacal or evil before this, well, now you know. While a spokesperson for America PAC declined to comment on Musk, and Musk did not reply to Short's emails, the billionaire confirmed he created the political group during a July 22nd video interview on X with right-wing commentator Jordan Peterson. Musk also denied a recent Wall Street Journal report that he was putting $45 million a month towards sending Trump back to the White House. I am making some donations to America PAC, but at a much lower level, and the key values of the PAC are supporting a meritocracy and individual freedom, Musk wrote on X. He doesn't believe in a meritocracy because he didn't get wealthy based on his merit. Republicans are mostly, but not entirely, on the side of merit and freedom. That's a provable lie. That is a provable lie. So, super PACs are not subject to the same legal restrictions as campaigns and traditional political committees. They can raise and spend unlimited amounts of money from individuals, corporations, and groups. There are limits for coordinating with campaigns, but they can coordinate on canvassing thanks to a Federal Election Commission advisory opinion from early this year. I tell you about the crookery. America PAC has raised millions of dollars with donations from venture capitalists and cryptocurrency investors. Last month, Senator Bernie Sanders publicly thanked Musk for doing an exceptional job of demonstrating a point that we have made for years, and that is the fact that we live in an oligarchy society in which billionaires dominate not only our economic life and the information we consume, but our politics as well. As the New York Times detailed Thursday, America PAC is off to a rocky start and now shaking up its field operation. Still, the group potential impact on presidential election in which Trump is expected to face Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris is generating concerns, particularly given the new revelations from CNBC. These guys are thugs. They are and they like to tell you that somehow Democrats are the one trying to fix an election? Come on. Remember, when you're pointing your finger, what is actually happening? All right, we are coming close to the end of the show. Hey, Tom C., what do you mean by the links? I think you said links to updated limericks poetry, but we didn't get any links. Did you put a link in there that we missed? If so, I would appreciate you either sending it to me by text or mailing it or something, you know? All right. Paul Fleming says, you ever notice that the people who want to raise the retirement age to 70 years old, those are the people that are not working in factories, working in hospitals, working in schools, working, driving trucks, working on the rooftops. They are people that are politicians that can retire anytime they want and leave cushy offices. And you know what? Air conditioned and get good cash. Yeah, I noticed that. Michael Rudden says Michael C's last comment is racist. Mike C, do you not understand people can have multiple ancestors from multiple? Let me see what Mike C says. What did he say that was racist? Let me look up what Mike C said. I don't see it. Paul Flemings, she claimed she was Indian from India when running for a that. No, she didn't. Oh Lord. You guys don't do research. Egberto, I think Tom C posted his link on YouTube. Okay. And YouTube auto deleted them. Okay, thank you, my man. I'll go ahead and look for them otherwise. Tom Zarnik says, see following links to updated PDR links. Oh, there you go. Let me go ahead and pull that up there. Oh, I love it. I love you, man. Let's go ahead and put it up there so that everybody can see it. There it is. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Why is this stuff not? I'm not going to open you, guy. There's a timer on some of these ads. All right. If you think you're going to get to me, you won't. I'll just refresh you. There we go. And and you did it nicely. Tom has a section at Politics Done Right. And there is the limerick that he did for the Kamala, oh Kamala. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. All right, let's see what else we got here. We're at 56 right now, so it's time for me to do my ask. First of all, I want to thank all of you guys for being here. I want to ask you to please support the program, and there are many ways for you to support the program. And how can you support the program? Let me show you all the different ways that you can support the program. Why is it that I am not? I'm doing a screen area instead of doing the window. Something happened there. Better not save that when I'm done. Better not save that when I'm done. Anyway, folks, there are many ways in which you can support what we're doing. First of all, you can go to politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. That gives you all the different ways in which you can support us. I want to ask you, likewise, I have some Kamala Harris swag that you can get at our store. Just go to politicsdoneright.com/store, and I have a mug and some, t-shirts, etc., with Kamala on it. Alternatively, what I'd like most of you to do who have the wherewithal to do it is to become paid subscribers of our newsletter. And how do you do that? Go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. That gives you the opportunity to get, you can read all our books online free of charge at the Substack location. If you support us, support that. And you also make sure that we can continue doing what we're doing. So please consider becoming a paid subscriber of our newsletter by going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Don't forget, this week is Ask Egberto Anything. And how do you get to Ask Egberto Anything? Just go ahead and sign up at politicsdoneright.com/Ask Egberto. Shakula Hairstylist said there's a caption, America Kamala shirt I want. Check it out. Check out the store and tell me if you like it. Anyhow, please again, I'm going to end the show now. But before, I want to ask you one more time. please support us at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.